Our lime sherbet has set up and it's really, really firm now. So we're ready to put the lime sherbet in our mold for our watermelon bombe. First, we got to get the bowl ready. To get our bowl ready, we need to have some aluminum foil. And we want this to overlap the bowl. We want it coming down so it's easy to take it out when we're done. You do want to make sure it's totally against the edges and there's no gaps there. With that done, our bowl is ready now for the sherbet. Now this sherbet has set up quite nicely. So I'm just going to scoop some out and put it in the bottom of the bowl. And then we're going to come and spread it up the sides. And I need to kind of mush it in and have it cover the sides. And I don't want it very thick. I just want it to barely cover the sides. So you see, and I'm just pushing it with my spoon, getting it to cover the sides. And I want to work fairly quickly with this because it is a frozen dessert. And I want to make sure I have it all done before it gets so soft that it starts running down the sides. So I'm going to do just like I did there, all the way around the bowl. Get some more in there, and I want to get this not big like when you're scooping out ice cream, big scoops. I actually want this to be nice thin, and that's why I'm using a spoon. Nice thin layers that I can spread up the side. So again, I'm just pushing this against the side, and I want it to come all the way to the top. Pushing this to the side as I work it around. So again, I'm just pushing this against the side, and I want it to come all the way to the top. Pushing this to the side as I work it around. Main thing to make sure is that there's no silver showing on the side. Have to be patient because sometimes you think you have it and then it falls away, so you just have to keep patient, keep being patient and working your way around. By the time we're done with this watermelon bombe, the whole thing is going to be filled, but not till we get to our third flavor. And we're kind of using the back of our spoon as a spreader. So now we're trying to pat it down at the bottom. Make sure there's no holes as we pat it down. We're still trying to keep it as thin as we can. As you can see, oops, getting softer. See how it's starting to get soft where we started? And that's wanting to slide down. That's why we need to work fairly quickly. So we're just going to finish patting this in. Use my fingers. And now at this point, I can bring a little bit more firm right up here where it was getting soft. And bring that in. At this point, I'm just making sure there's no holes and it's all filled in. As you see, it's all filled in. Now, I'm going to take some saran wrap because I don't want this to get freezer burn. And put this over this and down in. That's going to protect this from the freezer. It's going to make it, kind of give it like an airtight seal as I put it back in the freezer. And I'm going to put this in the freezer till it becomes very firm. Because I'm making all of my yogurts instead of using store-bought, I'm actually going to put it in the freezer overnight. Because I have to still make the other flavor. So once I have this in, make sure it's all turned around. That's going to help keep that fresh so it doesn't get freezer burn. Now I'm just going to stick this in the freezer till I'm ready for the next one. Now if you bought the store-bought stuff, you would only need to put this in the freezer for about an hour for it to set up. Or if you made all of your yogurts ahead of time, you would only need to put this in the freezer for about an hour now so that that becomes hard before you put the next layer in. As I said, I'm putting it in overnight because I still need to make the next flavor. Told you this would be a 3-day process for me because I'm making all the flavors. If you buy the stuff at the store and put it in, then you could do it in 1 day. The lemon frozen yogurt has now become solid. So we're going to pull it out of the freezer and we're going to show you how we put that into our watermelon bombe. We have our watermelon bombe. We're just going to uncover it. And then we're going to put our lemon frozen yogurt in the bottom, just like we did the lime. And then from there, we're just going to mush it up the side. And we again want this also to be a very thin layer. Again, we're working at just going all the way around the sides. We're not worried about the bottom yet. We're still working at getting the sides. I want to look and make sure it's actually going all the way up. If not, I want to add just a little bit more to it. So like right here, it's not all the way up at the top. So I'm just going to add a little bit more to it at the top. Work my way around, making sure it comes up to the top. Smooth this around. Using the back of the spoon to smooth this. There. Okay, our side looks pretty good. Now we want to just cover that bottom. So we're just going to mush it down and spread it around. Make sure it blends in with that on the sides. Now that I see no green showing through, what I want to do, since this has green on it, I'm going to throw it away and get some fresh saran wrap. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did the last time. I want to cover this up so that we don't get freezer burn. So I just start here at the top and work this down inside the bowl. And now this needs to set up for at least an hour. Once I have this in, I can kind of put my hand around, make sure it's smooth. Gonna put this in the freezer. It's gonna set up for about an hour. Then we're gonna make the raspberry frozen yogurt, and we're gonna put it right directly in here to set up firm, because we don't have to push it up the sides. We just want to fill the rest of this with the raspberry frozen yogurt. With this made, I brought out my watermelon bomb, and I'm just going to uncover it. And all we're going to do is take our raspberry yogurt and fill the insides. Probably take all of the raspberry yogurt to fill the inside. Just keep taking the raspberry yogurt, spreading it around, trying to make sure it's even. You notice how well that was freezing to the side of this. That's because we started with the fresh raspberries. So it really did not take long. I mean the frozen raspberries, so it really didn't take long for it to become hard. Okay. I said we want to make sure it's all the way up to the top and all the way to the edges. I'm going to try to make that nice and smooth. I'm going to go all the way around, trying to smooth out all the edges so there's no high and no low, so that when we take it out, it will lie flat. This now needs to chill in the freezer, or freeze in the freezer, covered. I'm going to use that same saran wrap for at least 8 hours. Then we'll be ready to take it out and serve it. So we'll see you tomorrow after it has sat in the freezer for 8 hours. Our watermelon bomb has now been in the freezer overnight and is solid. So we're going to show you how to take it out and serve it. Okay, we have our watermelon bomb here, and I'm going to uncover it. What you're going to need to do is just dip the bottom of this bowl into some hot water in the sink. That'll get it so that it's not frozen on the bottom, and we should be able to get it out. All right, so I have about an inch of water in there, and I'm just going to dip this in and let that warm up at the bottom. And I'm also going to run this little blade around the outside to see if we can loosen it. I feel it's starting to move. Let's see if that's going to be enough to get it to dump out. Alright, so now we're going to see that that just lifts right off. And then I just need to peel my aluminum foil back. And here we have our watermelon bomb. Now to serve this, we're just going to cut this, starting right here in half. Once you get it started, it's going to be easier. And then I'm just going to cut a wedge right here, as if I were slicing a watermelon. I should have done a little bit bigger wedge. Okay, going to do another wedge so you can see how it looks when it all stays together. Sometimes the end piece doesn't want to work quite as nicely, so I'm going to do another wedge right here. Start here. Here we have a piece of our watermelon bombe. And as you look into the bombe, you can see it looks very much like watermelon. This is Nadine with DIY Sweets and our delicious summer treat, watermelon bombe with frozen yogurt. Happy baking and enjoy!